Hey everyone about to listen to our podcast. When Haley and I recorded this episode, we originally ended up with about 2 hours worth of content because the story's kind of long and we were having fun with it. So we decided that this particular topic will be released as a part 1 and a part 2. So this episode that you're about to listen to is part 1, and then as usual, 2 weeks from today, part 2 will be released. So we hope you enjoy. Okay, so I'll do the intro and then I'll...
Oh.
Yeah.
You're talking now.
Can you hear me?
I turned the volume down on the headphones.
Well, don't do that. Let's just try again next week.
Yeah, you're like, I can't. Never mind.
Welcome, everyone, to Aisle 666, the one-stop shop for the internet's weirdest, craziest, sometimes dangerous to the government internet conspiracies. I am one of your hosts, Molly LeGros, and with me, as always, is
Haley Clunan-Lisi.
And for added fun, Haley has no idea about the topic that we're going to be talking about tonight.
I know. I think you told me last week, and then I was like, I don't remember. And you sent me a detailed schedule, and I read it, and I'm still like, I don't know.
And it immediately fell out of my head.
I forgot. I didn't retain that information.
Anyway, we've had a bunch of technical difficulties so far. So hello, how are you?
Oh, me? I'm
yes,
good.
you.
I'm pretty good. It's so funny. Last time I was in like a weird mood before we recorded the Leah Michelle one.
Yeah.
And then I had a beer and then it was great. So now I'm having tequila because I'm in a weird mood again. So
we're upgrading.
We'll see what happens. I don't have beer in the house.
I actually have been also in a weird mood the past like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So we're both here.
Yeah.
The topic for tonight, what we are discussing is, so basically like all of my notes come from summarizing this episode of a Netflix anthology documentary series. It was called The Web of Make-Believe. And one of the episodes, it's called A Murder in DC. And it's about a DNC staffer. He was working during the election in 2016. So he was living in DC. He was on his way home from a night out and he was killed. Basically, the conspiracy is around the circumstances of his death. And I don't want to get into it right now just because like I could spoil the whole thing in one sentence. But yeah, so there was a murder in DC in 2016. His name was Seth Rich, and and this is
his story. It does sound like a clue setup already. You're like, Seth Rich, DC, DNC.
The candlestick.
The candlestick, yeah. I'm like, what do they have around there? With a cherry blossom branch.
In the conservatory.
Yeah, with the Washington Monument.
Somewhere in there.
It's real pointy. Oh, I meant as a weapon.
Yeah, well, the Washington Monument's more like she's the narrator. By the way.
Yeah.
No one knew that.
You're like, phallic symbols who? That's a she.
That is a fucking lady. Okay.
Yeah. Book 13, you find out she is a lady.
If you want to hear a serious account of this of this story, watch episode 2 of the Netflix series Web of Make-Believe. It's called A Murder in DC.
I know, I was worried. I was like, am I supposed to make jokes about this man dying? And I was like, I hope the circumstances are funny. I'm gonna look like a dickhead.
The funny part about it is the conspiracy itself.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because politicians in DC are ridiculous, as we well know.
Yes.
So just, you'll see.
You're like, hold on tight. And away we go.
All right. So July 10th, 2016. So Seth Rich is out at a sports bar and it's his regular bar. They said they know how he likes his buffalo wings. That was a quote.
Is he a 15-year-old boy?
No.
All right. I guess it's not nuggets, it's wings, but still. A handheld chicken like could be an appetizer, but you're like, it's gonna be my meal.
That you very much need clean up afterwards. After consuming.
Exactly. Like it comes with the wet nap.
If you can't do anything in between eating, It's a
Yeah.
child's food.
It's a child's finger food to the max.
Okay, so he leaves in the early morning hours. He's walking home. Just to reiterate, it is 2016, so the election is getting ugly, guys.
Yeah.
It's starting to ramp up, basically,
Yes.
is what's happening. I have to confirm, but I don't know if Bernie is still in the primary at this point. He is in the primary still at this point. It was really close to the Democratic National Convention date that year, which was July 26th, 2016. This happened on July 10th, 2016. So almost, but he is still in the primary at this point. Anyway, so he works for the DNC, and so he's walking home. He calls his father, who apparently didn't answer. I don't know why they decided to keep that in. It was
Well,
like,
they're gonna be like, I don't know why dads don't answer. And I was like, dude, my dad never answers either.
that too.
Dads don't be picking up phones. He'll like butt dial me like 5 times a day, and then I'll call him back once, and he's like, no. Just like won't answer the channel.
He's like, I'll talk to her later.
What a fucking dad move.
It's also what they said was early morning. So if it's like 2 a.m.
Oh, okay. Then he's off the hook. Maybe
Yeah.
he's a good dad. I don't know.
Maybe he was just like, I'm fucking sleeping.
Yeah, he's like, dude, who calls then?
So then he called his girlfriend. I guess he called her twice. I don't know how long this walk was. I don't know if DC is that walkable. I know that John Patrick, hey, shout out. One of my best friends lives there, and he has a car, and the time that I visited it didn't seem very walkable, so maybe there's like parts of it that are, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, he calls his girlfriend twice, I guess, and that's why I was like, how long is this walk? Because the first time he talked to her for an hour and a half.
And damn. So yeah, she answered and they talked.
Yeah. And then the second time he called her was like a half hour. So he's been on the phone with his girlfriend for like 2 hours. So I'm like, unless you're just taking like a leisurely stroll.
Or it's not walkable, and he's like, I'm gonna make this shit walkable.
Yes. I mean, none of those details actually matter, but I just, interesting, I think.
Okay.
Think about that.
Yeah.
So she hears something concerning at the end of the second call, and he literally says, "Don't worry, I'll be fine." And I put a sad face next to it because I was like, Seth, you're not fine.
Yeah.
So at 4:20 in the morning,
LOL.
I know.
Sorry.
that was my first thought too.
You're like, good one.
I was like, blazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's like, I called my dad 5 more times. Maybe he'll answer. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, not to bring down everything, but he was shot in the back twice, and there was a significant struggle. So like there was bruising on his face and his wrists.
God.
So that's why the police think that it was a robbery gone wrong, that someone was trying to, steal his wallet or something. And instead,
they stole his life.
So the security camera that was at the corner where it happened, they couldn't catch the face of the assailant. And so police notify his parents, and they are obviously devastated at how senseless it is, and release a statement that it was a robbery gone wrong. Because in this area in DC, shootings were not uncommon, and robberies like those were not uncommon. So they were like, we're going to focus our efforts into trying to find who it was, but this is what we think happened. Which, by the way, amid all of the craziness that we're about to get into, the police still could have stuck to their original plan. And to this day, we still don't know who murdered Seth Rich. So who is Seth Rich? He is from Nebraska. He moved to DC to get into politics. His parents said he loved to joke. He loved to make people laugh.
Seth, me too.
It was one of those statements where in those like murder documentaries where it's like he had a smile that lit up the room.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I don't watch those enough, so I'm not familiar with the patterns or like tropes that are people are like, he has such a magnetic personality, and you're like, I don't know that he did.
It's just very general information.
Yeah. They're like, he's just like really cool and nice.
He liked a good laugh.
Wait, can you hear that? Oh, Molly just goes, he liked a good laugh. And Dave just goes, me? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, Dave, wait, can you hear her? I was like, wait, how'd that happen? Great timing, Dave. Even
Yeah.
unaware, great comedic timing from Dave.
Always, always, always. Give it up, everyone.
Give it up for Dave.
So he loves a good laugh, don't we all? So more specific information that they said is that he liked to, in high school, he watched C-SPAN for fun. And I was
Jesus
like,
Christ.
so did he enjoy a good laugh?
You're like, was he laughing at the people on C-SPAN? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Was he making his own fun? Like, I feel like I can laugh at a lot of stuff and make things silly. Was he like the class president or some shit?
They did not say.
That radiates that energy.
It does. No, it does. Everything about him does. I'll get to it in a second, but this whole thing is so not even about him, even though it is his fucking murder, which makes me mad for him.
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck? I don't even get the attention.
So, and then his mom also said that he memorized all Congress people, like senators, representatives, like of every state, and that he was specifically passionate about voter registration and voting rights, which I was like, snaps for my boy Seth.
You're like, okay, at least you're putting your bizarre hobbies to use.
Yeah.
At least there's that.
And he had a lot of American flag memorabilia. So, okay, so the point that I was getting at earlier, all of that I just said, that's all the information that they ever give about Seth Rich, like as a person.
His backstory to like paint a picture of him.
Yes, that's all that we know, is that he loved a good laugh. He loved a good C-SPAN. He loved to memorize Congress people.
He loved the flag in all forms.
And he fucking turned up for that American flag.
Full flag regalia is how I would describe it.
So since he is a DNC staffer, people in DC immediately begin speculating that he was killed for political reasons. And obviously, like I said, the 2016 election had already been ugly at this point.
Right.
So the headlines immediately make the Reddit forum The Donald.
Oh, God.
Which I had to look up because I was like,
is it
what?
spelled like DAWN?
No.
Okay.
No,
I was like, oh God, the Donald of a new age. Oh no. That's what I
No, you think they're that clever?
I was say they're not that clever. What am I saying? I'm sorry. I rescind my credit that I just gave them.
Yeah, no. And the further you hear about this story, just don't give anyone any credit.
From here on out, no one gets credit.
Just reserve all your credit. That's for you. So just for context, I did put because I was like, what the fuck is the Donald? I can guess, but
yeah.
It was a subreddit where participants created discussions and internet memes in support of former US President Donald Trump, initially created in June 2015 following the announcement of Trump's presidential campaign. I remember when he announced that and everyone was like, ha ha ha, what a joke.
That's what I mean. I'm like, oh, hopefully those memes where people are just like, haha, yeah, right.
So it was created then, but it grew over the campaign, and it grew to 790,000 subscribers who described themselves as patriots.
Oh, so it did take on more of like a serious
oh yes indeed.
Oh, no. Is that a lot for Reddit too? I'm not on there enough to know.
Oh, it's a big enough group, obviously, but they described themselves as patriots. So then I know you don't ever remember anything. However, do you remember?
You're like, I'm going to preface this with the fact that I'm aware that your memory is bad, but
do you remember when the Democratic National Committee, the emails were leaked by WikiLeaks that proved that the DNC interfered deeply with Bernie Sanders' campaign?
No.
I didn't think you would.
You're like, okay, great. I'll just tell you. I had notes for this. I was prepared to explain this.
That's pretty much it, is that Julian Assange, you know him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, they release 20,000 emails that were hacked from the DNC servers. We actually don't know if he would have been the candidate if they didn't do that. So
thanks a lot.
Yeah, literally. So that happens. And in the days after Seth Rich is killed, there's this thing called an SVR bulletin. And SVR is apparently a Russian intelligence outfit. It's like specifically internet based. So this bulletin says fraudulently that it believes that Seth Rich was supposed to have met with FBI agents in the very early morning hours of July 10th, but instead the FBI agents were actually paid assassins and were in some way associated with Hillary Clinton.
Wait, so
that's the conspiracy.
Okay.
See how I said it has absolutely nothing to do with him?
Yeah, so they think someone from Hillary's campaign paid people to pose as FBI agents and then for those people to murder this guy.
Yes, because they are also supposing that he is involved with these emails as well. So just the fact that they're also associated with Hillary Clinton, I was like, Jesus, you just like put all of them together in one. They were like the FBI, paid assassins, Hillary Clinton. Oh, this is from the SVR bulletin.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. So that's a Russian run?
Yeah,
page?
It's a Russian intelligence outfit. Like it's so hard to like articulate what any of these things are because it's all online.
Yeah.
Like they're not a forum, but like that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like people like just, talking.
Mouthing off.
So then after the SVR bulletin, the whole theory that I just said appears on this website called whatdoesitmean.com.
Oh, I was like, wait, this is different than Know Your Meme because we talked about that before.
Yes. No, not meme.
I was like, oh, great. So we're already making jokes. All right, that was fast.
This website is called whatdoesitmean.com.
That's a really like broad name for a website.
And so just quickly go to the webpage. I just want you to see.
Whatdoesitmean.com?
Yes.
Okay. I hope it's like, remember Stumble Upon? Do you remember that website?
Oh my god, yeah. And
that's why I'm like, I want to just have like questions, like big, like universal questions, just like shuffle and just like, all right, tell me what it means. That's what I'm picturing.
Even just the landing page, you're gonna freak out.
Oh god. What the fuck? Such a fall? What the fuck? What? Oh god. My phone's gonna be all fucked up now. There's like a very Aryan woman, like girl crying.
Yes.
Oh my god. What the fuck? What's going on?
Oh my god, I didn't even see all these pictures.
All these are real. Like the aspect ratios are all wrong. Like the images have been stretched to the point where it's illegible. And the photos lit very dramatically. And then there's an Albert Einstein quote.
And none of these images have any business being next to each other.
Yeah, Jesus, what the fuck?
Like
I don't want to read this.
I don't even get how we won't read anything. I just literally wanted you to see the page.
Oh, I didn't mean read it like my brain was gonna get messed up, but I'm just like, this is a lot to read.
No. I just wanted you to fear not, because I am not going to make us go through this.
Oh wait, also, can I just say like the tagline of the website?
Yes, please.
It says, "The news you need today for the world you'll live in tomorrow." And I feel like that can go like leftist and alt-right people both.
Because that statement seems innocuous enough, but then you scroll down
and then you're like, oh, so you mean it like that.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Okay.
I'm out.
You're like, what kind of world do you think we'll live in tomorrow? You're like, what do you mean? What world are you picturing?
Like, I think we were really opposite in what we thought might happen. Yeah. Where it actually says whatdoesitmean.com. What are these images? They look like tarot cards, but they're not.
Yes. Yeah, I'm assuming there's like a dragon in there.
Well, is that
the
ark?
Medieval font. Oh, let's see.
Is that Noah's Ark at the right?
Oh, my phone doesn't even want to load it again. It says that site can't be reached. Thanks.
Yeah, no. It's like, you made me do that once and I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's like, sis, stop.
So yeah, I'm also gonna get off
I'm helping
of that.
you.
So, yeah, my note about that website was it's a crazy conspiracy theorist website that looks like a web page from 1997.
Yes, that is a great description.
And I also said I'm afraid my web browser is going to skew insanely after just being on that website.
I know, yeah, like get out, get out, get out. You got 30 seconds. Uh-oh. Dave thought I was talking to him. So he ran away. A quick sidebar too. Toast really loves if you like shriek. And then sometimes Dave and I will just stand at opposite ends of the house and shriek, and then he'll run back and forth to check on us.
He loves tantric yelling.
Yes, that's exactly him. He's just like Sting.
He's just like Sting.
In a lot of ways, he's very much like Sting, yes.
Yes, thank you for asking.
Thank you. Yes, my dog is Sting reincarnated.
No, Sting hasn't died yet, but Toast will take over for Sting.
Yeah, he's getting ahead of it.
Anyway,
we were talking about the website. Okay, yes.
The founder of this website. Sorry, it's so funny. The founder of this website, David Booth, is infamous for having tried to hijack a plane when he was 14 years old.
You're like, hey, put your hands up. On this plane. They're like, so sit the fuck down. Where's your mom?
Don't you have school tomorrow?
He's like, hey, give me your wallet. I mean, plane.
Hey,
fuck, I'll sit back down. It's fine.
No one look at me.
No one look at me. My mom said if I was good, I could have this plane.
So the other thing is, in this episode, in this documentary episode, they say that and then no follow-up.
Wait, so David Booth started the website, wanted to okay, I get it now.
And he once tried to hijack a plane when he was 14.
I want to know more. Like that could be like a whole show.
Exactly.
Little hijackers, hijacker juniors. Honey Company Miners, my ass. He's like,
the challenges.
The plane's all mine.
So we get like 10 of them together, like it's Big Brother. And the challenge is you have to deliver your hijacking speech without your voice cracking.
No voice cracking, no crying.
No crying. No stamping your feet, no throwing things.
Feet, no balling your fists.
No punching the wall.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway.
So
okay, go on about this guy.
He also once had a very specific dream about a different plane crashing, and a few days later there was a plane crash that resembled his dream. So that makes him a psychic, okay?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's doing it with his mind.
And it gives him the credentials to predict more terrible events. And so he feels the need to catalog them all on this website.
Oh my god, yes. Maybe I will go back on this website. I changed my mind entirely. 180. This website's actually sick.
I will say though, the statistics on his predictions is that he was only ever right about that plane crash.
I know. I was like, what are the stats?
So I don't know. His credibility is a little bit shot.
Maybe if he just sticks with planes, like maybe he can
he's like,
up to where he can hijack planes.
He's like, I receive very plane specific imagery. This other Russian crap, that's just for fun.
Yeah. That's just me trying, like, working on some new material.
Yeah, that's just workshopping.
Yeah.
This is my
don't get mad at me when those things don't come to fruition. I don't know. I'm not in control.
Exactly. He's like, everybody bombs. It's part of life.
Yeah, you got to get them out of the way. You got to get them under your belt.
So this website fuels a lot of the political conspiracy theories, usually anti-democrat. There was a lot about specifically Obama being a criminal when he was a president.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell like what kind of guy David
Booth is. It's skews right, that's all. That's the big deal.
He's like, I'm just a Republican, okay?
I'm just a Republican who can crash planes with his mind. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, I don't want attention.
Don't go on the website.
This isn't a cry for help.
That's my journal.
www.creedthoughts.gov.www/creedthoughts.
I didn't know writing stuff online meant other people could see it.
God, I apologize. I'm embarrassed.
I love to like I feel like a lot of conservative people are the most paranoid about the government, and they're like, I'm just gonna write down every thought I have online.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
But so he also somehow has ties to Russian intelligence because he posted a reference to the emails that Russia had of ours. So he would post things on whatdoesitmean.com that he shouldn't know. Basically.
Oh, okay, like
about
prefacing
specifically like
Gotcha.
Russian intelligence, and would pass it off as like, his
premonitions.
Yes.
Wow. That's even funnier. He's like, no, it's not intel. I'm doing this.
and
I want the credit and the glory. Me.
Listen, it's either planes or it's Russia. Like I can't get anything else.
Yeah. Those things are in my Q zone, all right?
So after whatdoesitmean.com, the theories metastasize on 4chan and subreddits, which, as we know, can have some of the scariest people you've ever met on them.
Or not met.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
because you don't
not
want
out and about. They're not out and about. Okay.
Okay, so then August 9th, 2016.
OMG, that's almost my birthday.
That's my mom's birthday.
Hey. Is your mom's name Lisa?
Trisha.
I'm so sorry. I knew there was an I, an S, and an A, and I was like, Lisa. I'm gonna go with Lisa.
Big bucks, no whammy, stop!
That was a bold guess.
I was like, it's Lisa or Trish.
Lizzo?
Lizzo? Your mom's Lizzo?
So August 9th, Julian Assange goes on a Dutch news show. I don't know why they didn't give the name on it, but all they said was a Dutch news show. And he heavily suggests that the DNC staffer who was recently murdered was the whistleblower of the emails that WikiLeaks leaked, like the DNC emails. And so the interviewer flat out asked him, like, wait, was he one of your sources? And Assange says he can't comment on who WikiLeaks sources are. And so the interviewer literally says, then why would you suggest that then? And to be honest, I have the same question.
Yeah, you're like, wait, what?
So is he or isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's trying to plug how high the stakes are for WikiLeaks sources that they are being murdered.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And-
yeah, I get it.
Right. And so this fuels the right-wing conspiracy fire, which is great. So WikiLeaks puts up a $20,000 reward for information about Seth Rich's murder. But what we know now is that Julian Assange's suggestion was completely untrue. In reality, Julian Assange received the emails that WikiLeaks leaked 4 days after Seth Rich was murdered. So therefore, he couldn't have been the source for the emails.
Oh, right. I guess that makes sense.
And Assange is an avowed enemy of Hillary Clinton and is also apparently a goddamn psycho who will exploit someone's death for his own BS. So that's cool.
Yeah, like very cool. Good qualities to have.
And some of the leaked emails from the DNC emails were modified to have their dates changed in order to line up more consistently with Seth's murder.
Oh, what the fuck?
Which is crazy because I'm like, well, wait, which is it? Is WikiLeaks about releasing bold, ugly truths or not?
Yeah, you're like, because that don't look good.
Right. Because like the thing is, the emails that were released, that sheds light on a whole separate thing that like, yes, the DNC was for sure corrupt in that. And after that, that's when the DNC chair stepped down and like they had to elect a new one. And it's a whole thing because that situation is incredibly embarrassing for the Democratic National Committee. However, how do you take that and then be like, yeah, and you know that guy who just conveniently died? He was my source, but wait, maybe not. I don't know.
You're like, you can't talk to my source. Why? He's dead.
So the DNC chair resigns after these emails are leaked. And Seth's grieving parents offer their own reward separate from the WikiLeaks reward. So it's $25,000 from the DC Metropolitan Police, and then $100,000 was put up from their new lawyer, Jack Burkman. New character alert.
Okay, Jack Burkman.
At first, the Rich family wanted to kind of take advantage. I know. Every time
I was like, yeah, they must be rich. That's a lot of money. And you're like,
no.
Oh no.
No, honestly, every time when I was watching the documentary, when they'd say the Rich family, I was like, what Rich family?
Yeah, you're like, which one? There's a lot. Like, I don't know.
So they decided to kind of harness this media attention that was going on to garner towards their own resources, and can you blame them?
Yeah.
And at a press conference, reporters asked if this is part of WikiLeaks reward, and Rich's mother, her name is Mary, she's great, she's like, no.
She's like, fuck off, no.
The thing is, though, they hired Jack Burkman as their lawyer, who has a bizarre reputation in DC for being publicity hungry and ostensibly conservative.
Oh no.
But would really take anything that would get him media attention.
I was like, is he like the Jackie Childs? Like, you know him on Seinfeld? Like, that's who I'm picturing.
Pretty much. As we get further, I was picturing Better Call Saul.
Oh yeah, oh my god, I did see that too.
So his other cases include trying to get gay football players banned from the NFL.
Oh my god. That's so crazy. That would get a lot of attention, though. I'm like, all right. I'm like, let me hear your argument at least. I'm sure it's stupid, but I'd love to hear it to laugh at.
So when they introduce Jack Burkman they define this term called conspiracy entrepreneurs, who are those who exploit a tragedy for their own gain and often knowingly perpetuate false narratives because of the money that can be made off of it. And that's why I was like, Better Call Saul.
You're like, hello. It's all good, man.
So all of that preamble, and then they bring in Jack Burkman. So he says he took a liking to Seth. He calls him a great noble guy. I was like, you did not meet him once.
Is he not dead? Like you hired him because he died. You didn't need him.
He says everyone on both sides of the aisle said great things about him. And I was like, why did we need that specification? Why is the only thing conservatives talk about conservatives?
I know.
He says he doesn't believe there's much evidence that Seth's murder was a robbery. And I was like, you mean besides the evidence?
Yeah. Besides the stuff that they were going off of until this whole thing happened.
Besides all of the documented shit that they kept.
Oh god.
So he just really wanted to be the central authority on this topic and completely took the narrative away from Rich's parents. And so he begins what was called the Seth Rich Profiling Project. And he says in his interview, we were approached by a number of people. I had a guy who claimed to be former CIA, and I think he was. I was like, wait.
Oh wait, you're saying I think he was, or he's like,
no,
he said that, and I
believe him. This is Jack Burkman. I'm not saying that at all. He goes, I had a guy who claimed to be former CIA, and I think he was. He claimed that he had been approached by someone who claimed that the Russians killed Seth. So do you see? So at this point, I have to also refresh where we are in time. So the election is over. Okay. So do you see how quickly Hillary fell off of this?
Oh, right. Yeah, because it was so the original conspiracy was that Hillary hired people to kill him to keep the Bernie emails out. Okay, yes.
Now it's that the Russians killed Seth.
Oh, God. Yeah, like what point is he trying to prove? Like, what is his argument?
You'll see.
Oh, God.
So, and it's not even like Jack Burkman specifically, he's not perpetuating it for this reason, but you'll see where it ends up is what I mean by that. So he goes ahead and splashes this bullshit on Fox in early 2017 that Rich had discovered the Russians had been hacking, and therefore the Russian government assassinated him. That's when I was like, so it's not Hillary.
Yeah, you're like, when did she leave the equation? I don't get it.
They're like, we defeated her. It's that's done.
Yeah.
I specifically love the way that they show these interviews because they will sometimes include the interviewer's question just so that you can see how crazy these responses
There's
are.
some context. You're like, no, this is how we started off
the interviewer just asks like how did you know that this person was former CIA, the one who said that he was killed by the Russians, and
he's
he
like, I
says
think he was.
He says he quizzed him and he believed him based off of the results of that quiz.
I feel like you'd have to be associated in the CIA to ask questions to prove that.
Exactly. So I'm like,
he's like, is everyone former CIA? And he's like, dude, I was former CIA too.
Put that on the news.
Put that on there. Add that to my resume. Lawyer, former CIA.
They can't say I'm not because then they would have to expose who they are.
Yeah.
That's all he says is that he quizzed him. I was like, good.
You're like, okay, cool. Now
So
I feel good about that.
You didn't do a basic background check at all.
He's like, yeah, I did with like my words.
Yeah, I'm the background check.
Yeah.
So this is where it first ends up on Fox because Burkman is the one saying it was his commitment to put out each and everything that came to us. That was just a tidbit that came to us, so we put it out there. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Why is that your commitment to put out every piece of information that you receive, whether or not it's true?
Dude, that's like the opposite of being a lawyer. Like, obviously I'm never gonna be a lawyer, but I'm like, no, it's like combing through evidence and like putting together the pieces that are like relevant and like prove your argument. And he's like, no, not the way I do it though.
And you don't say a goddamn word until you are sure.
I know. Yeah, you're like, no, I've like put this whole thing together. This is it. This is my
there's like 27 pages worth of documents. I never understand how there's so many papers worth of documents in these cases. So I'm like, what do those things say? Why do you have a big manila folder of
do you need to include the entire document and like only cite parts of it? Yeah, I don't know.
But what even is the document? So the interviewer of the documentary presses him again and says, what evidence did you have? And he says, the only evidence was I found the guy credible.
The CIA guy?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
He's a stand-up guy. He wouldn't lie to me.
Dude, this is like, obviously stuff has been bullshit for a while, but I feel like this is like that years when it started to take a turn. You're like, because he is, and you're like, okay, that's fact, and then I guess that's fine.
And everyone's just standing there like,
like, is that okay? Are we going with that? Is that your final answer?
You're saying that out loud?
Yeah. Well, because he is. And you're like, okay.
Oh, okay. I have a bullet point that says play Haley the part of Burkman's interview explaining how he has 3.5 bullets in him.
Oh God.
He's so strange.
So the lawyer has 3.5 bullets in him?
Yes, he does.
That was just
I hate his voice.
You can hear that
already. I'm like, ew, get it away.
He sounds like a Simpsons character.
We investigated this. As you know, we put out an 80-page document from the profiling project. Actually, the guy who authored it, I think he did a good job. Turned out that he was a little nuts. That's another story. Kevin Doherty, he actually shot me.
It's so funny. I grew up with a Kevin Doherty, so that's why I'm like, okay.
You're like, Kevin?
Yeah,
what
I'm like,
are you doing?
My baby brother.
So I had thought at first that Kevin was the guy claiming to be CIA. But
okay.
I was wrong. Remember how I said he started this thing called the Seth Rich profiling project?
Yes.
So as part of that project, one of the guys who worked for it, so like therefore worked for Jack, he put together this 80-page document that on the same night that Seth was killed, Kevin Doherty alleges that like a van of FBI ammunition and weapons was stolen in the same vicinity. So they're trying to like connect those two things. And then what Burkman kind of glossed over is that as they were dealing more and more with this Kevin guy, they were like, he's whacked.
Oh, Kevin's whacked.
So then Kevin masquerades as FBI, claiming to Burkman to have classified documents proving that Seth was working for them or was like on his way to meet them that day. So Kevin would leave documents, quote unquote documents, under a cone for Burkman. And
the only reason I'm here alive today is because of my little dog, Jackie the dachshund.
He's such a good storyteller. I'll give him that.
He is.
So he would leave documents under a cone for Burkman. This was a ploy to shoot Burkman. The only reason Burkman is alive is because he had his dog with him and he wasn't dressed up, because Doherty was like, if I know one thing about Burkman, he's going to look sharp.
Oh, so he didn't know it was him?
Yeah,
Like he was like too slow on the draw to like, okay.
He didn't recognize Burkman because he wasn't in a suit, and I guess he had his dog close to his face.
Yeah, that's insane too. Like that's
like even for dachshunds, I'm like,
yeah, why are you carrying him up like he's your face?
Like, we're doing something covert.
Yeah,
Jackie.
Yeah, he's like, hide me. Don't let people know it's me.
I'm in the FBI.
Yeah.
So once he did recognize him, he was only able to get him in each butt cheek and the back leg.
Twice.
So
in the dog's paw. Not cool.
So Burkman quite literally has buns of steel.
Yeah. Burkman buns of steel.
Which is his new exercise video, because as we know, he will do anything.
Wait, is that real?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I was like, dude, I hope so. I wish that were real.
Clip the dog too, which he should go straight to Azkaban for.
I know. I was like, in the dog's paw?
Yeah, like the fucking dog. Jackie's bleeding for
Yeah,
what?
Leave him out of this.
For what? What did
Jackie
Jackie
out
do?
of this. Just conceal a man's identity for like a second. That's all.
Jackie was like, I'm laying down my life and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, I had no idea. It was not consent.
Doherty tries to run Burkman over. Burkman throws the dog to save it.
Dude, picturing that is the funniest thing to me. Like he's just like, flee, Jackie, flee. Take to the skies, Jackie.
Save Jackie.
Save Bandit!
So in the process of hitting Burkman, Doherty hits a speed bump that jolts his car back, but apparently still does a lot of damage to Burkman's left arm. But Burkman is okay.
He's like, I almost fell off. And I was like, what? You mean broke? Like, I don't think your arm almost fell off.
He's like, look, I have a bionic arm.
Yeah, you're not like made out of like pins, like metal rods. And
says you.
He almost knocked it right off.
Just like,
yeah,
you know how arms just
you're not
come
a potato
off.
head.
He is a potato head, though. Come on.
He certainly seems like one.
Doherty cuts his losses and drives away after this.
That's his loss.
But he still, before he's arrested and convicted, he still puts a fake FBI report just out on the internet about Seth Rich, like the whole thing that he was talking about. And I was like, for what would be the point, Kev?
Yeah. He's like, I'm going out in style.
Like, this was all a ploy anyway. You don't even believe this.
Yeah, he's like, I started on a ploy and I'm going to end with a ploy.
Okay, so that's the Kevin Doherty story. So
the Kevin Doherty tangent.
So that guy got 9 years for that.
He's like, okay, this is my source.
This is my primary source.
Yes,
Kevin's
the guy who
my
waited
guy
in a garage and later tried to kill me. Yes, that is
Kevin's my star.
My star.
So then after all this commotion, Burkman's next tactic is to create a reenactment video of Seth's murder.
Yes.
Of like what he imagines.
Where he plays all the characters. You don't even have to tell me. I know that's what's happening. Like, and of course, yes, I will be Seth. I will be killer number 1. I will be killer number 2. I will be Hillary. I will be the getaway driver.
This is my story, is it not?
My story. Why do you think I got into this? Why do you think I took this case? Yeah. He's like, ooh, can I make this about me? Should I create a reenactment? Check. How many roles will there be?
I wrote method acting, that'll solve the murder.
Yeah. That always helps.
All right, so I did find the video on YouTube.
Mr. Assange, thank you for taking my call.
Thousands. He's like, really?
I've managed to get admin access.
Yeah, this guy is acting his ass off.
Yeah. I've seen C-SPAN, okay?
I fucking love
I've
C-SPAN.
seen and studied C-SPAN.
What can I do for you, Mr. Rich?
This literally looks like a porn. Like this literally looks
Mind
like
if we shut the door?
like conservative.
You just have to shut the
Body
door.
fucks guy. Yeah. Oh my god. Are you? Yeah. What are you telling me? That's not what this
You
is.
know who I work for, right?
I know where you work. What do you have for us?
Wow, she is not
Confidential
acting her ass
DNC
off.
emails.
No, she's acting her ass
And
in.
what do you want in return?
Sorry, man. I gotta cut you off. What are you talking about? You can't do that.
This is literally
Yeah,
like
whatever.
watching the videos to
You
get your
okay,
serve
Seth?
safe for alcohol training. They're like, I'm sorry, sir. You had too many drinks. And they're like, what? You can't do that. And you're like, let me
I'm
get my
not.
manager who's more qualified to
Just
deal with
things at work
this.
and you know how much it freaking costs to live in Brooklyn?
Why are we
Yeah,
talking about
That's
Brooklyn?
tough. I got a plan.
He's like, those fucking
got a
libs and their
plan.
lib cities.
Plans are good.
He's
Let me
like,
get
I'm
your
one of
reports.
them, by the
Yeah.
way.
By the way. He seems very centrist, but yes.
Now, damn, I don't need a damn ride home, Bill.
Yes, this is exactly how the videos go. And you go, sorry, sir, I just don't want you to get hurt. And they go, ugh,
And he
okay.
slaps down the cash.
Yeah, just take my money.
Why does
Shots
it say
rang
his
out.
whereabouts are unknown? They're not unknown. We know exactly where he died.
Yeah.
Look, Chelsea,
yeah.
I'm sick of the DNC. They're rigging
Oh,
this
right, this is the
primary, and I've got the
girlfriend.
It's
emails
like,
to prove
I
it.
just can't think of anything other than the DNC.
Look, I've got some work lined up that's going to pay really, really well.
Can't tell you, but it's
it's nothing
WikiLeaks.
dangerous, but it's going to pay well enough to allow me to move to New York with you.
He's literally shitting on Brooklyn
Soon,
10
honey.
minutes ago.
They're like, hey, we are Hillary Clinton.
We're the bad boys of the crew.
What do you guys want?
They're like, line, who are we working for?
Did you want something? You want my wallet?
Sounds like he's talking to
My
Doug. He's
phone?
like, you want my
My
wallet?
phone
Go
too?
get it. Go
And
get
both.
it.
And my watch too. We don't want your damn watch. We're
I
not
thought
here
you were
for that.
Russian.
You
That is
exposed
a man
us.
from South Carolina.
No. They took all the necessary precautions. They can't trace you to anything. Save your breath. You're not wrong. Walk. Walk.
See?
You don't want to do anything.
He's
What do you
he's
want?
attempting a Russian accent.
Yeah, it was some accent. I don't know what that was. Boom, boom. Who killed Seth Rich? So that's like a PS. But like, where did he air that? Like, did he just bring that to the courtroom, or did he like air that on TV?
That is a good question.
That, like, the end of it is framed like a PSA. It's like, if you have any information, please call this. Like, are you talking to the people, or like, who are you talking to? Who is that call to action for?
It further doesn't make any sense either, because their theory supposes that it's all these upper level government people. So how would anyone have any information? Yeah, so he makes that video. The Rich family hates it. Mary,
Well,
not
no
on board.
shit.
Yeah, no, obviously no shit.
Because
but,
Mary
like,
has tact. That's
but,
why.
like, every time they cut back to his parents, I'm like, oh my fucking God. Like,
These poor people.
like I forgot.
he succeeded in making really making it just about him. But you're like,
Like,
"Your son died."
I was like, oh my God, Mary, hello.
Mary's like, fuck this dude. Why did we like? Did they hire him? Like, how did they even get in contact with him?
They did hire him, but it was because and I would understand how he would have been able to speak persuasively enough to them that
Right.
they would think like, oh yeah, this guy's a little eccentric, but he'll do whatever it takes to, find
Right, and he put up like the majority of the reward. I think
right.
too, is what you
Yes,
said.
yeah. So the Rich family hates it. And the interviewer of the documentary, when he was talking to Jack Burkman about it, they were like, why would you make this reenactment knowing absolutely nothing that actually happened that night? And
He's their lawyer.
and
Why would you make such a misguided, uninformed reenactment? He's like, attention? I don't know. I don't know.
and he says, reenactments come from all different points of view. It's no different than the people's trial of O.J. Simpson.
I feel like a reenactment implies that it's like you're telling the truth of what happened with the information.
Literally. And also, like, I understand the sentiment of what he was saying about shows like the people's trial of O.J. Simpson, or like Ryan Murphy did another one about the assassination of Gianni Versace. So all of those things, sure, they can have an opinion a lot of
Right.
times. That's
Yeah.
very salient from the writers, but most of the OJ trial was already on television. So
Right.
so we're just kind of redoing what we've already actually seen
Yeah, you're like, those are things that happened.
with our eyeballs.
Confirmed.
Okay, so after that, the Rich family fires him.
Good for her.
So he's not working on the case anymore.
Get it, Mary.
All right, everyone. This brings us to the end of part 1 of the Seth Rich DNC staffer conspiracy. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. We will pick right back up where we left off in 2 weeks. Bye-bye. See you then.